Thank you to eBay for sponsoring this video. Click the link in the description below to go right to all the Masters of the Universe collectibles you've been looking for. For nearly 40 years, one action figure brand has been proving that it has what it takes to separate the men from the toys, as if that were possible. With a new retro-inspired line arriving soon and a potential feature film in the works, it's time to find out who the true Master of the Universe is. I'm Dan Larson, and this is the top 10 Masters of the Universe action figures. This list is the result of votes cast on our Patreon, Twitter, and Instagram. As such, it represents the overlap of people who love Masters of the Universe and also people who participated in the voting. That may seem obvious, but let me give you a quick example. When I cast my ballot, it went like this. Number 10, 1983 Vintage Battle Armor He-Man. Number 9, 2013 Mattel SDCC Mini He-Man. Number 8, 1982 Vintage He-Man. Number 7, 1985 Vintage Thunder Punch He-Man. Number 6, 2012 Classics Thunder Punch He-Man. Number 5, 2010 Classics Battle Armor He-Man. Number 4, 2009 Classics Scareglow. Number 3, 2013 Classics King He-Man. Number 2, 1982 Vintage He-Man. And number 1, 2016 Club Grayskull He-Man. I do not expect that all 10 of those will make the final list. If I am lucky, perhaps 1 or 2, something to consider as this list unfolds. Number 10 is Mattel 1987 Mosquitor? I don't remember what this one is. Some kind of bug, it seems? I punch a lot of things, but I don't remember punching that. Time to reach out to an expert. Hopefully my friend Pixel Dan can provide some insight into what the story is with this Mosquito Man.
Hey guys, my name is Pixel Dan, and I am so honored to be here to talk about the very best Masters of the Universe action figure, Mosquitor. Mosquitor was released in 1987, which was all the way at the tail end of the original Masters of the Universe toy line. As a result, this figure is actually made up of a lot more unique parts than we have typically seen in many of the previous Masters of the Universe action figures.
Thanks, Dan. Great information.
All these unique parts, like these awesome silver space boots and the unique helmet shape of his head, makes him a very cool and very interesting standout character.
Number 9 is Mattel 1985 Mossman. Beautifully flocked to mimic the look and feel of the organic substance he's named after. And I mean, if you think this figure smells good, let me tell you what it's like smelling him in person. See, for the figure, Mattel opted for a pine smell, but Mossman is so much more than that. Like, how do you describe the smell of a cool autumn morning just before the sun comes up over the Great Wall in the fields of Evermore? It's so much more than just tree. It's the breeze and the pollen in the air. It's the volcanoes and dinosaur leavings. Mossman is like Eternia itself, giving you a big warm hug, wrapping you in a blanket of everything soft and smelly in the best way possible. Number 8 is Mattel 1983 Triclops, one of the few figures with a strap on his back for his sword, something commonly overlooked on characters with swords, something I certainly could have used. Where is my sword? Triclops is so named for his 3 eyes that work more like one interchangeable eye as opposed to 3 eyes all looking in the same direction. And as much as you might think that it would affect his depth perception, some of the greatest sword battles of my life have been with Triclops. And I would show you, but those 3 eyes make his vision even better than his regular eyes could have been. He's got an eye for long-distance vision, an eye for night vision, an eye for gamma vision, and for the record, I have punched him in 2 out of 3 of those eyes. Really hard to get him in the one that shoots lasers. Number 7 is Mattel 1984 Battle Armor He-Man. Ah yes, now we're talking. From that time, I sought out a fashion consultant who suggested covering this. Not to mention showing how much damage I've taken. I don't take damage, I dispense damage. It's the armor that was getting those slash marks, not this. Number 6 is Mattel 2009 Masters of the Universe Classics Scareglow. In 2008, Mattel returned to their roots with Masters of the Universe Classics, a revisit of the classic characters through the modern lens of design and action figure engineering. Scareglow was one of those characters that existed in the vintage line and got a modern update. For more on that, let's go back to Pixel Dan.
Mosquitor appeared in the mini-comic Enter Buzzsaw Hordak, where we learned that his ability is to drain the energy of his foes. In fact, he even used this
Still with the Mosquitor? Cool. Cool. Number 5 is Mattel 1985 Roboto. Most people think that Roboto was created as a chess-playing robot who, after a programming upgrade, decided to join me in the fight against the forces of evil protecting Castle Grayskull. The actual story is that I went to see Rocky IV, walked out of that theater, amped up, went straight to Man-at-Arms Workshop and said, just like the world of Rocky Balboa, that is what this whole thing has been missing. Robots. I told him it needed to do 3 things: hold pizza, cut pizza, and dispense drinks. I even drew pictures of the attachments. Next thing I know, I'm riding into battle on my giant tiger, punching man-sized spiders and snake men, and here comes this guy shooting lasers out of his drink dispenser, and I'm like, Man-at-Arms? What are you gonna do, right? Guy's a genius. He's my best friend, saved me more times than I can count. I can't stay mad at him. Number 4 is Mattel 1983 Manny Faces, one of my dearest friends, the best actor in Eternia, a valiant and honorable warrior. I could talk about him and his uncanny impressions all day, but Pixel Dan actually has a very funny story that I'd like him to share. Dan?
Pressing that button repeatedly, this liquid, bright red blood oozes through his chest. Blah, 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 it's so bloody.
This guy in Mosquitor, what's the deal? We got other stuff to talk about here, buddy. Just can't talk about Mosquitor all day.
Just keep going. Move on to the next one.
Number 3 is Mattel 1982 He-Man. Hey! He-Man, He-Man, He-Man. Ah, you guys, I knew I could count on you. Why'd they even call it Masters of the Universe, right? There's only one. This guy. It's the figure that started it all, 5.5 inches covered in absolutely shredded muscles. Power punch action, sword, battle axe, shield. There are few things that are so iconic overall, much less when talking about the action figure industry. Nothing happens if not for this figure. Every kid wanted it.
Every kid got it.
First in line every time. You launch the line with this guy and everything else, everyone else follows after it. Vintage, New Adventures, Classics, Filmation, Ultimates, Motu Minis, Reaction. Even I didn't put it at number 1. I got so many variants that it makes sense that I'm gonna take the top 3 spots. All right, I'll leave some of this for the next 2 entries. And at number 2 is Mattel 1983 Trapjaw? Trapjaw? How is this even a thing? Who voted for Trapjaw? Do you even know what Trapjaw is? You think it's cool that this guy is like a Frankenstein made out of stuff found in a dumpster? Do you know he smells like a dumpster? You know how I know? Because I punched him, and he smelled exactly the same as that time I punched a dumpster. I can't even go to Dan.
It's a scientific fact that cats love Mosquitor. Oh, blood. It's so gooey. Oh.
And at number 1, because nothing means anything anymore, Mattel 1982 Skeletor. "37 years, and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out, what's in my head, and I'm feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, eBay has all the collectibles you just can't get anywhere else. Vintage, rare, import, new and old, the kind of stuff we showed off in this video. Take a look through the rest of the toys. You'll find things you used to own, things you forgot about, or possibly things you didn't even know existed. I thought my Ace McCloud was complete and had been since I originally purchased it back in 1986, but to my surprise, I was missing several accessories. Look, Ace went to the beach, to school, to Grandma's house. How are we gonna shoot an episode about Kenner's Centurions without all the missiles and jet engines and wrist-mounted laser guns? I knew there was only one place to go. I knew eBay would have it. eBay is the place for collectibles, new, old, rare, vintage, one-of-a-kind, domestic, and international. All kinds of toys, action figures, accessories, playsets. Go to eBay today to find the thing you've been missing all these years. To get started today, click the link in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit like, please hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very much to those of you who already are. If you're in the position to help the channel grow, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/toygalaxy. Thank you to Pixel Dan for being a good sport and helping us out with this video. We contacted him on very short notice and he totally delivered. Be sure to keep an eye out for Dan's new book called The Toys of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, published by Dark Horse, hitting shelves near you sometime soon. We gave you the top 10 vote getters here on the figures that were, here are the figures that were at the bottom. Tramp Stamp, Claptrap, Junk Trunk, Hambone, Rhyme Time, Play-Doh, Chips Ahoy, Frankincense Myrrh, and So Sad.